Are you looking to improve your side hustle gig? Sublimation. In this episode, I'll show you how to convert an Epson WF-7710 printer into a sublimation money-making machine. It's a bit of fun. It will tickle your nipples in this one, I tell you. Enjoy. Sublimation printing, such a good thing, so easy. You know, you don't have the screen printing, you don't have the stuff to get ready. With vinyl, you have to make sure that you weed it, get all the vinyl ready and things like that. Sublimation's not like that. Sublimation is you print some sublimation ink onto some sublimation transfer paper, cut out what you don't want on the shot, and then you heat it up. It's that simple. We'll go through the process from start to finish of me cleaning the inkjet ink out of my printer to the point where I'm cleaning the excess ink that's already in there and making sure I'm pushing out that sublimation ink onto that transfer paper. Put it on the heat press and make myself a mug. Oh my goodness, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It doesn't, even if you're not into this, going through every stage and seeing it happen, I can't say any more. I'm excited, I'm keen, I'm ready. I just want to, let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my printer ready so that I can release the cartridges from the printer. So I'll just go through the settings to maintenance and then get the ink cartridge replacement setting. Then once I go through that, lift it up, it goes through its configuration, and then I can release them from the housing. Then what I want to do is I'm going to want to get my station ready, and what I like to do is I like to put some cling wrap down and then put some paper towel over the top so that I can get rid of that ink carefully. I don't want to, go everywhere. I just want to take it and put it in the rubbish bin. Now I can take my cartridges, put them on there, and I won't have the ink going absolutely everywhere. Now I'm going to go through the stage of actually trying to keep and save as much of that ink as possible. So I'll just go through with my syringe and then put it into the bottles that I use. It's such a good ink and it's fantastic. It does a really good job, good quality. With my blue, my cyan, I was actually having an issue trying to get all of it out of there. As you can see, it's actually a little bit at the bottom and my syringe wouldn't get down there. I had another shot, but we'll get rid of that later on when I start to dispose of it properly. Go through, I had an issue with my magenta. It was aerating, the actual needle wasn't working, so I used another needle to get all of that out of there. So everything's going really well, just getting everything out of there as much as I can, just so I don't have an issue later on pushing that ink through, and I know that I'm definitely getting that sublimation ink. We want to save it, save as much as we can. Every penny is a prisoner, every penny. So now I'm just going to go about cleaning my syringes. I just use some clean water, try and get rid of as much as possible, and then I'll go through the stage of actually emptying that into a disposable container, filling it up, getting some clean water through those syringes so it's clean, so that when I actually use my ink, my sublimation ink, I won't have the inkjet stuff already in there. Here I'm going through and actually getting rid of all that residual ink that's left inside the cartridges. We really want to dispose of this properly, so we want to use a tin or a container that we can put our ink into that then we can dispose of later. Try and clean it as much as possible because that stuff goes everywhere. Sublinova ink, such a good ink, it's fantastic. I think it ranges for those bottles were around $120 for those 4 colours, 100ml each, and I think that's a great way to start. Probably don't go for anything bigger than that because you really want to see if you're making a lot of sales through the sublimation, then you can go up to a larger container. Just going through and putting it in. Those little blockers you can see that I'm putting in, one's a breather and one's actually for the ink, so we only want to make sure we put one of those caps in. If we put two caps in, then we block that breather and we actually have an issue of getting the ink out of the cartridges. Just setting it up, putting some paper in so that when we clean those jets, we can do the practice pattern and see that we're getting ink through all of those jets. I'll go through that in a second. We just go through, set up what paper's in the printer, then we'll go through to the settings, we'll go to maintenance, then what we'll do is we'll go through the print head cleaning function. This is going to then push all that sublimation ink through the jets and get a good clean sublimation ink pattern. So we'll go through that, it cleans, then we'll go and print out that pattern. Print out the pattern, load paper in there, so we'll get a nice good print. And as you can see, the magenta isn't coming out as well as it could be, so we want to go through that process again, just basically the same way, and clean those heads again. Clean it out. This is the second time we're going through that process. You might actually have to go through this process a few more times if you've had empty cartridges. Just getting it through there, you just want to make sure that you get a nice, clean, crisp image when we do that pattern. So there's just a comparison. The magenta's starting to come through now, which is good. One issue I had because I'm using the refillable cartridges is the Epson's picked up that it's not a genuine cartridge. All we do is we're prompted to lift it up and install some genuine ones. You don't have to, just remove it and reinsert the cartridge, and then it should recognize that it's a non-genuine cartridge. Then when you go through that, all you need to do is click OK and proceed. It just comes up with a prompt. Don't worry about it, just click proceed and everything should be fine. Replacement complete. Yes, it's going smooth. It's actually going a lot smoother than the first time I did it. Awesome, 6 tries of cleaning those jets and we've gotten the result that we want. We've got the result we want. As you can see, all the lines are good. That means that the actual sublimation ink has actually gone through. We cleaned them properly and now we can go about putting it onto some sublimation paper. It's a specific paper. So I'll just get some of that. I'm a high grade sublimation paper. I'm going to load this up into my printer, my WF-7710. We're a good printer, Epson. Yeah. And my high grade paper, and then we're going to lay that ink onto this, heat it onto a mug, and we're going to get some success. We're going to get a nice looking sexy mug that we can then drink coffee and tea out of, and anything you like, because that's what mugs do. I'm a different kind of mug. That mug is for drinking. So I'm going to load it up, print it out. Bellissimo. So here I've got my design, side hustle, you know, workers, it's all good. $, all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this out, and I will print it out in reverse, because when we wrap it around that mug, it's actually going to be in reverse, and then we're going to put it on. So we're going to make sure that it's reversed. Doesn't fit output media, it's still in, for some reason it keeps going to letter. I don't know why that is. Standard paper, we want to have that as high quality, great. And we also want to go to a pre-press, and we'll bump up that DPI to the 1200. Make sure we get a really high quality image. Colour, yes, fine. Then we want to make sure that we print it in reverse, which was this setting here. Mirror image, yes. Apply, print preview. It's not in landscape, apply, print preview. Always preview the print. How many times have you printed something out and it's come out not the way that you want it to. Awesome, side hustle, side hustle. So I'm going to have that on both sides of my mug. Beautiful. We're going to print that out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it out. Make sure you've let it dry. We don't really want to smudge that sublimation ink. And then I'm going to line it up onto my cup. It's really good to just sort of have a look at it and visually see it. Having a few measurements is good, but the eyeball test is totally fine. Now I'm wrapping the actual cup up in some Teflon paper. I've moved up from the baking paper. I bought myself some Teflon sheets, reasonably cheap. I think I've got a pack of 3 for $20 or something like that. And now I'm going to put it in my mug press. The heat setting that I've got is 400 Fahrenheit, and I've got it on there for 3 minutes. We want to make sure that you put it in the middle of the actual heat press and apply as much force on there as possible. Watch out when you're removing the tape, because this thing is like magma. It's so hot. Hot. Like, it's hot. I tell you. There you have it, your own mug, sublimated, sublimation. Hey, look at that, side hustle, and I'm gonna make some money off of this, I tell you. It's such a good thing to have. Photos come up absolutely fantastic, just transferring it onto that paper and then heating it up and putting it onto sublimation ready products. I'm gonna have some fun with this. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed it. And like and consider subscribing to the channel. I love you. I appreciate you. Keep up the side hustle.